This is my van. It's not a big van. In fact, the area I have to work in is only 9.5 feet. In that 9.5 feet, I want to have everything. Only power tools I own is a jigsaw and a drill, but it can be done. I had this crazy idea in episode 1 that if I made a queen size bed and I made it to where it could flip up and slide forward and slide backwards, that when it was all the way up, I would have room for a full bathroom. So here we have the bed, a queen bed, and it's laying flat. And as you can see, one of the most important things to me is these beautiful, beautiful windows, the picture windows. So the number one rule was nothing to permanently obstruct any of the view. So that limited to everything being pretty much just off the floor. Now, when you flip up the back of the bed and slide it back, you have a lot more room, enough room to have a dining room. When you add a table that can articulate all over the place, you have food prep space and you have sit down dinner for four. And if you add a cool folding desk chair, you can make a mobile office. Now, if you put the bed flat and move the bed to the center, you end up like this. You pull the front curtain across for privacy and you end up with a mini office. And you also get a queen size bed. If you spin around to the back, there's enough room for a half bath. Now, if you tilt the bed up and you slide it all the way forward, you end up with a lounger for two, with a table. Then when you turn to look at the rear and pull across the curtain, you get this amazing bathroom shower. And the panoramic van build, one of the requirements is everything needs a great view. And when I took this picture, I was just blown away. And this became my favorite part of the van because I just thought of all the places I can go and have this view out of my bathroom. Plus, it has to have hot water. So from this crazy idea, from this simple little drawing, and this is all I worked off of, this became reality. And I'm going to show you how I made it. So here's where we left off from episode 4. There's links down below to all the other episodes. I'll put a card right here if it'll take you back to episode 1, or at the end there'll be a link to take you to episode 1. Also below is links to all the products that I've used in here. So the first thing we need to do is build the shower pan. I built this out of 3/4-inch plywood that I'd used for the bed, and I use that because it just doesn't flex. I can stand on it, it doesn't flex. I need something that will not budge. And so there are screws every 2 or 3 inches and brackets. And this is the caulk I've used. I've used this in the past. I really like it. You can paint it. It's indoor, it's outdoor. It's got it's supposed to last 50 years, and you can paint it in 20 minutes. And I found that it's very durable, but still yet has a little flex. Now the paint was the real key. I've used this on my house about 7 years ago to paint my trim. It is oil-based, it is enamel, it's hard to work with for cleanup, but it is rock hard durable. And so I did 8 coats of paint on the base to make it waterproof. I also use this in all the other wood inside. So this was curtain 1.0. I spent 8 hours making this. Velcro everywhere. You could see every surface is Velcroed, and I was so happy with it. And I got outside and took these photos and hated it. I hated it. It was a monstrosity. It was going to be too much trouble to take up and put down. I took it all down and started from scratch. So I took my inspiration from the hula hoop shower, and you've seen that. But I needed a lot bigger hula hoop. So here I have this tube. And so this section right here, it bends in all different shapes. And that is the biggest you can piece. That's the biggest you can get. That's a 12-foot section, and then another section here. But I will show you a close-up of that shower curtain rod. So here we have our shower. And the shower pan is removable, so it just slides in like that. So if you're going to go on a trip where you don't need the shower, you can just take the pan out and store it and have all this extra room. So let's look at the curtain rod. So the curtain rod is one big piece. The only thing that's holding the curtain rod in place is one zip tie tied to here. The rest is all just pressure fit, and I'll walk you around that to show you how that works. Here is the shower seat, which is part of one of the boxes. You can pull back the shower curtain and lift up the top, and there's storage underneath there. Also makes a nice place to sit. Over here is going to be where the sink is, and you have all this storage back here to set things. There's also some more storage right through here, which I'll show you. And there's also room right here for the toilet, which I'm going to go into because I put a lot of work into picking out just the right toilet, and I want to make a different video just about that. So the PVC pipe comes up here. I put some fuzzy pieces of Velcro every once in a while just to keep it from rubbing. And it just bends uphill, bends and continue bends till it goes over the edge of this little bin door right here. Then here's the elbow right here. and it just continues on around. So to move the curtain, to take the curtain down, you can just pull on this, and that pops the whole thing loose, and then you can slide all the little curtain rod holders down. So you can put the curtain all in one place. So it continues up and over, still no attachments. So over here on the left side is another elbow, and then it just comes back around and down and around there. So PVC pipe, this is just a small 1/2 inch, and it's fairly floppy when it's just in a straight line. But when you put it under tension and put a shape to it, it becomes very rigid, and it can hold a good bit of weight. You can hold the curtain up with no problem. Here's going to be the shower head. I haven't made a mount for it yet. It'll be somewhere up in here. So coming down, I can lift this curtain up. And there's plenty of storage right here for some large bins. You might have your clothes here where you can have access to a bin for changing or whatever you need. And then more shelf space over here and over here. And then these bins open up here, and you can store things down there and have access to the water tank, the propane tank, and also to the controls for the hot water heater. So when you're ready to take your shower, just pull your shower curtain across, turn your water pump on, come up here, and this is the valve for your water flow. Control the water flow, and then all these different settings. So I like using the garden fittings. Also, if I ever needed to extend this line, it's just going to be a simple piece of hose. I have 3 fabric curtains that I got from Walmart. The reason I like the fabric, it has some really neat properties to it. So what I did is I took the 3 and I glued them together. I just took a hot glue gun and I glued the seam so that it overlaps like this. Now these are washable. I just have to wash it in cold water and then hang it to drip dry because of the glue. But one of the many great features is these are machine washable. Once I had it in place, then I cut it to length, and then I glued again a new hem. So turned it over twice and glued it for the hem. Now what makes this unusual fabric is this is a polyester fabric, and it's water repellent. It's not waterproof. If you were to use vinyl curtains, if you were to wad it up like this and hang it, the water would get caught in the vinyl and you'd very quickly get mold and mildew. What's great about this is the gravity will wick the water out to the bottom and drips out of the bottom, and it dries very quickly. Now the one drawback is if this touches something, it will have some water tension to it. So if you notice, like in your shower, when this gets wet, it will stick to the fiberglass. But the water won't go through because the fiberglass doesn't absorb it. So the one problem with this is when it's wet, if it touches something that absorbs water, the water can pass through. Otherwise, it just stays in the mesh until it just works its way down. So what's nice is I painted every surface that might come in contact with this with several coats of the same paint that I used for the base, which is completely sealed and is not going to absorb water. But I also have it so that it's freestanding here, and the water should just work its way down. Now, if I don't want it just to drip dry into the shower pan, I can take it and I can gather it up, and I put a loop of Velcro around loosely, which just brings it off the ground, and then I put my sink underneath it to let it drip into the sink. Now that sink will not have a drain. I talked about that in a previous one, how I'm going to do the sink. So it'll be freestanding and I can use it this way. Now when it's all dry, I can bind it up some more, and I think I'll leave it there, and I'll build a bag. I'll glue up a bag with the extra material from the curtain, and I'll see if I can make a little stuff sack that'll just hang from the ceiling and bring it all the way over here, which will be right in between the windows. Now if you notice, there's no shower drain, and there's a reason for that. I had to give up 3/4 of an inch to make this pan, and I didn't want to give up any more headroom because it's so limited. So I'm going to be building a power drain. It'll have a water pump and a tilt mechanism so that you can tilt the water however sitting, because odds are you're not going to be completely level and the water's going to run to one corner on its own. But if not, I'm going to have a little way to tilt it so that the water will run into a corner, and then have a pump where you can just pump it out the back window, or if you want to pump it into a water bin and then dump it somewhere else, you can do that. If you're done using the shower, you can drop your shower head down, run the tube along here, over here, and now you have it sitting here ready to be used as a sink. Still much to be done. The electrical system has to go in here, and needs to be some cabinet faces, same over here, something to work out this
this little mess over here. And then I want to go over with you how the hot water system works and how I had to modify it to control the water temperature for low flow. Also have to go over the toilet and how that's going to work and install the heating system. So all those are coming in future videos. So I hope you'll stick with the series. Thanks for coming along and thanks for watching.